My name is Ulrike. I'm a fiddler, most of the time old-time fiddler. I grew up in Germany, but for the last 30 or so years I have lived in Washington, D.C. I grew up in Frankfurt. You know, Frankfurt at the time when I was maybe in my late teens or so was quite a hotbed for folk music. There were a couple of really nice folk clubs. There was one group which was a Czech bluegrass group that had basically gotten out of what then was Czechoslovakia when the borders were semi-permanently open. And they were really, really good. On one of the evenings in a folk club, there was a traveling American guy called Daryl Adams, who is a banjo player. So I kind of fell in love with the sound of the banjo. So I said the next morning, I have to get a banjo, so I did. And it was a pretty crappy instrument. And I basically sat up all night, changing, playing the tune, changing the tuning, playing the next tune, changing the tuning, playing, and I was going through till about 3 or 4 in the morning. By the morning, I kind of had those tunes down. I met some other guy who had lived in Oregon for quite a while, and he was a really good fiddler and quite a good old-time fiddler as well. And so he taught me quite a few tunes, and we ended up playing in a band together. The band that we played in was called OIE, Once Is Enough String Band. We played the folk clubs in Frankfurt and these couple of festivals. Old-time music is music that takes its roots from many different cultures and has melded it into a danceable, generally it's danceable music. It's older, it's like a precursor of country music, it's a precursor of bluegrass music. So you have the banjo hailing from African instruments, the rhythm hailing from African rhythms very often. The instrumentation tends to be, I think it pretty much always involves a fiddle and most often the guitar. Appalachia very often has just fiddle and banjo. Very participatory music. It's music where anybody can join in. I like that it's dance music, so it has this kind of beat, it has this backbeat that really gets you, I don't know, it sort of emotionally gets you going. I'm quite partial to modal tunes, which have a certain depth to them. So a modal tune will be a tune that is sort of straddles somewhere between a major and a minor. This is Falls of Richmond, one of the modal tunes, and you get the sense that it has this kind of slight melancholy about it. You have some tunes that are happy bunnies hopping around the grass. They're just very jumpy and you dance. And a modal tune sometimes might make you a little more pensive. A lot of them are also have a slightly slower tempo. Dwight Diller, who is quite an influential banjo player, he at some point, he sort of looks at me when I was talking to him. He says, "Do you know what modal tunes are all about?" I said, "I was trying to say, they're about nice music." And so I said, "Modal tunes are all about death." And there's a certain truth about it. I mean, they're all sort of supposed to go deep, right? There is always the question of how does somebody who actually has not grown up in the United States, why and how do they end up playing American music? And I obviously learned old-time music in Germany. I've talked to some people who have the sense of, if it's not bred in the bone, you cannot really play the music. So if you're not from Appalachia, you can't play Appalachian music. I kind of disagree with that. I am kind of an all-purpose enjoyer of music. If I like the music, I play it. And I just hope that I can express the kind of sense, and that I can express the spirit of the music despite not having grown up around it. But you know, let's face it, most of the people who were digging up the music again did not come from a rural area either. They were very often, you know, they grew up in New York City. That is about as far from Appalachia as rural Germany, I'd say. It is music where you can lose yourself. You can, on some tunes, you can kind of get into a zone, and if you play the same tune for half an hour, so be it. It just makes me happy, gives me good vibes.